In this video, we will explore the concepts behind collisions. We will begin by stating the law of conservation of momentum and how it applies to different types of collisions. We will then solve some one-dimensional problems involving collisions and explosions. This video will end with a two-dimensional situation aimed for higher level students only. Momentum is particularly important in situations where we have two or more bodies that interact. Consider two objects that interact with each other but not with anything else. At the point of interaction, each object exerts a force on the other, and from Newton's third law of motion, the two forces are equal in magnitude and opposite in direction. The times in which these forces act on each other must also be equal to one another. Now recall that the impulse of a force acting on an object is given by force multiplied by time, and is equivalent to the change in momentum of that object. It follows that impulses that act on the two objects are equal and opposite, and therefore the changes in momentum of the two objects must also be equal in magnitude and opposite in direction. If we now replace the change in velocity terms with their initial and final velocities u and v, we can rearrange this to show that the total momentum of both objects before the interaction is equal to the total momentum after the interaction. This results in an important law known as the conservation of momentum, which states that the total linear momentum of any system is constant, provided that there is no resultant external force acting on it. Conservation of momentum is important as it is used to predict the motion of objects immediately after a collision. In physics, we use the word collision to describe an event where two or more objects exert forces on each other for a relatively short time. For example, when two balls collide on a snooker table. An important aspect about collisions is that momentum will always be conserved in collisions. Now recall that moving objects have kinetic energy. When a collision occurs, there will be a transfer of energy between the colliding objects, and sometimes energy will be transferred to the surroundings, usually as thermal energy or sound. These energy considerations can be used to categorize different types of collisions. When the total kinetic energy of a system before a collision is equal to the total kinetic energy after the collision, it is referred to as an elastic collision. However, in most scenarios, such as cars driving into one another, the total kinetic energy decreases after a collision, and we call this an inelastic collision. Moreover, if the colliding objects stick together after a collision and have a common final velocity, we call this a totally inelastic collision. We will now go through some worked examples of one-dimensional collisions where motion and interactions are limited to a straight line. In the following example, we have two balls approaching each other, and part 1 wants us to determine the velocity of the 6 kg ball after the collision. Recall that momentum is given by the following equation. Since momentum is conserved in collisions, we have the following expression where u represents the initial velocities of the two balls and v is their final velocities. As velocities are involved, direction must be accounted for in our calculations, so we will take the right to be the positive direction. Substituting in the relevant values, we must use -1 for the initial velocity of the 6 kg ball, and -2.2 for the final velocity of the 4 kg ball, as these are both directed in the left direction. This can now be simplified and rearranged to find the final velocity of the 6 kg ball. Doing so results in a final velocity of 3.8 meters per second to the right. Part 2 wants us to establish if this collision was elastic or inelastic. Recall that kinetic energy is given by the following equation. We find that the total kinetic energy of both balls before the collision is equal to 53 joules. Similarly, using the final velocity calculated from part 1, we also calculate a total kinetic energy of 53 joules after the collision. As these two values are equal, no kinetic energy was lost during the collision. Therefore, this collision must have been elastic. In this second example, we have a totally inelastic collision and want to calculate the final velocity. As before, momentum must be conserved in a collision, and so the total momentum before the collision must be equal to the total momentum after the collision, where we can note that the two balls have a combined mass after the collision. Substituting in the relevant values and rearranging for the final velocity v, we arrive at an answer of 2.81 meters per second to the right for the combined velocity. As an aside, we can calculate the total kinetic energy before and after the collision, and we see that around 14 joules of energy was lost, confirming that this is an inelastic collision. Most of this energy is lost in doing work to permanently deform the objects, generating heat in the process. Conservation of momentum can also be applied to explosions. In physics, we use the term explosion to describe an event where an object breaks into two or more pieces due to internal forces. In such events, no external forces act on the system, so total momentum must still be conserved. Instead, kinetic energy usually increases after an explosion due to the release of internal energy. In the following example, we want to calculate the recoil speed of the cannon. Using conservation of momentum, there is no momentum to begin with, so the total momentum after firing must also be zero, and the momentum of the cannonball must be equal and opposite to the momentum of the cannon. We can then rearrange this for the velocity of the cannon, and substitute in the relevant values, to find that the cannon has a speed of 0.37 meters per second in the opposite direction to the cannonball. So far, we have only considered changes in velocities, but conservation of momentum also applies to systems in which the masses change with time, and this is crucial for analysing the motion of rockets. Consider a rocket with fuel that is initially moving with some velocity. Rocket fuel is continuously burned to produce hot exhaust gas, and this gas is ejected from the rocket at a high velocity. As a result, the mass of the rocket will decrease, but the total mass of the system, which includes the rocket's fuel, remains constant. The ejected gas has both mass and velocity, and therefore has some momentum. From conservation of momentum, the rocket's momentum must change by the same amount in the opposite direction. The faster the gas is expelled from the rocket, the greater the momentum change, and this will result in a greater speed of the rocket. This section applies for higher level students only, where we will consider a collision in 2 dimensions and want to calculate the final velocity of the red ball. The final velocities each have components in the x and y directions, where we note that the white ball has a negative vertical velocity as it points downwards. We can then apply conservation of momentum in each direction to calculate the missing velocity. If we apply conservation of momentum in the y direction, the initial momentum of both balls will be zero, as the white ball only has motion in the x direction. Their final momenta will be given by the components involving the sine theta terms as follows. We can then rearrange for the velocity of the red ball and substitute the relevant values to calculate a value of 4.47 meters per second. Alternatively, this problem can be solved by applying conservation of momentum in the x direction, but this now involves an initial momentum of the white ball, and the final momenta will use the cosine theta terms. This results in a more difficult calculation, but this still results in the same final velocity of 4.47 meters per second as before. We will now provide a final summary of the key understandings from this video. The law of conservation of momentum states that the total linear momentum of any system is constant, provided that there is no resultant external force acting on it. We saw that momentum is conserved in all types of collisions. Elastic collisions will conserve kinetic energy, but inelastic collisions lose kinetic energy. If the colliding objects have the same final velocity, then the collision is totally inelastic. Finally, we saw that explosions describe events where an object breaks into 2 or more pieces due to internal forces. This now concludes our video on conservation of momentum and collisions. Thank you for watching.